Rich Rodriguez had his press conference this afternoon, and he addressed several different topics, including quarterback, and I think he made some pretty big hints about who we might be seeing Friday against BYU.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. This is Locked On West Virginia, baby. We're talking about the Mountaineers on the football side of things again today, a baby. Look, it's an interesting time of the year right now. We're not a very good football team, but we're still focused in. We're honed in on these press conferences because there's a lot of knowledge coming out about different things. Richrod does not hold back, so we'll talk about that. As well as meet BYU preliminarily. We got a few guests coming on this week starting tomorrow. So that's going to be fun as well. This episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by Game Time. Right now is Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. But I'm not alone. Of course I'm not alone. I've got the man, the myth, the legend, Jackson Johnson, right here with me.
How you doing today, good buddy?
Doing good, man. So what we're going to talk about today is, as I add in the background here, we're going to be looking at, let me see, it's under Poop Stain McGee. I don't know why I named it that. All right, so obviously the big hints from Richrod today in his press conference. We're going to go over his press conference. We're going to do a preliminary meeting of BYU football. And then Jackson Johnson is going to take us around college football as we look at some games on the slate for Saturday, and we're going to pick them. Sound like a fun time?
Sounds pretty fun, especially for a day that's my birthday today.
Yep, that's what I was getting ready to say. Today is Jackson Johnson's 48th birthday. He just turned 48 today.
Actually, 28.
28 years old. So happy birthday, man.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
So we figured to bring you on for the birthday. Everybody let Jackson know birthday in the comments. Tell him happy birthday in the live chat as well. And if you're on podcast, just say happy birthday, Jackson. All right, man. Appreciate you for coming on so often and giving me a break here when I need it and just giving me somebody to talk to instead of myself here and there.
Absolutely. No problem, man.
So, all right, man. So every year Jackson gets older, his brain gets a little bit bigger. He can remember more stuff. Richrod had a press conference. He actually had his radio show last night. He also had his press conference. So I thought, you know what? How about we just go through everything? Sounds like a fun time, right? So I'm going to go through. I got bullet points. I wrote down every little point I could remember. So I'm just going to roll through these, but we're going to talk about the quarterbacks first. So Richrod, when talking about the quarterback situation, mentioned today that both Jalen Henderson and Max Brown are kind of day-to-day banged up right now. And what we know from Richrod is he's big on practice, right? You're talking about practice, man. Practice.
Practice is perfect.
So practice is a big deal to him. And it makes you wonder if I think, the hint is this. He had a lot of great things to say about Khalil. He said he can make every throw. It's just about getting him reps. I think Richrod's plans to continue to play Khalil Wilkins, the dynamic redshirt freshman who can just run his ASS off. I mean, he is a quick kid. He's pretty fast. He's perfect for what Richrod wants to do in this offense, Jackson. And, if Richrod finds his guy in year one at quarterback, that's all the better for the future.
No doubt about it, because a great quarterback will help you get through the year. And you're definitely going to need a great quarterback to help you get through the BYU matchup on Friday night.
That's saying very much an understatement. They've got a very good defense, possibly the best defense we faced, which is scary considering we just played Utah last week.
Yeah.
It's a big physical front with a very sound group. They're, very similar to Utah, and that Kalani Sitake's been there for a decade plus. And so, man, what a great family, though. I mean, from my time around them, I don't have a lot of time around them, just the one day. But I got a real good sense of what Richrod was saying in his press conference about Sitake, which is he's just kind of a role model that a lot of coaches look up to. That came through, that shone through whenever I was around him personally. He's got this really, he's like the guy next door kind of vibe. He's very nice. He's not like Richrod, who comes off as a hard ass, or he's not, not that Richrod isn't nice. He is very nice, but Kalani really, I mean, he's just like hospitable, very nice, very inviting kind of personality. And so it's kind of funny to see this hard-nosed defense be born out of it, because he is a defensive coordinator at heart. It's an interesting thing. It's an interesting kind of dichotomy. All right, so I'm going to be okay if Khalil starts. I think clearly as a runner, he gives you a great chance. And if you can do some things in the pass with him, then great. Obviously, he can throw it deep, and I think that's what Cambon does well. So if you want to try to hit people in the run game with him and a running back and then throw it deep to Cam and company, then fine. I do worry about his accuracy, but I haven't really seen enough out of him to make that judgment. But it sounds like we might be tracking for that, perhaps, or maybe Max Brown. But, I mean, it sounds like they're both dinged up. So I don't know. On a short week, what do you want? Do you want a quarterback that's got experience but could be nicked up, or do you just want to play a brand new redshirt freshman in his first start ever at BYU? Like that's a tough ask for anybody in the country. So, and the thing is they're playing a young quarterback right now, Jackson, and Bear Bachmeier, who is, playing well for them. This could be a game where you can trick him into some mistakes, although he hasn't made a ton yet. You might, I really do think, because they're not an explosive offense, I think you're going to have a chance to stay in this one a little bit. But I thought that last week too, and it didn't happen. So what are your thoughts on this game, Jackson?
I would say take your chances with the freshman quarterback, because this way you've got your experienced quarterback being healthy for the rest of the season. You don't want to risk major injury on a Friday night against BYU.
Right. Yeah.
And if he hasn't played more than 4 games, and he's played less than 4 games, there's always that red shirt rule. It never said play weeks 1 through 4. It said 4 games or less, you can redshirt your guy.
That's true. And that's true. I mean, it's a great point. I think right now with Khalil, I mean, you can play him. If he gets hurt, you can redshirt him. That's true. Just like a lamb to the lion, just throw him out there and let him get destroyed. No, in all seriousness, though, I think, this is going to be interesting to see what Richrod does. Do you bet on the upside because nothing's working anyway? Or do you bet on maybe I wouldn't be against Max Brown getting a chance.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm of the mindset that we're probably a better passing team and don't know it yet because we don't have good passers. Well, Max Brown's a good passer. So he's the best passer on the team, even better than Nico, in my opinion. I've shown the tape a million times. I can't, but his decision-making skills clearly are a different story. You can tell last week he tried to hurdle somebody and got hurt on the second play, but you can clearly tell he's got some skills. So I wouldn't be against him playing either. I mean, he started at Florida. It doesn't get much bigger than that, Jackson.
Oh, no doubt about it. I'm going for Max Brown. I'll take my chances with Max Brown.
I forgot all about him. Well, I don't forget about him. It's just he gets lost in the discussion because he's the only one that hasn't played a snap this year, the 5 that Richrod talked about. So
let's go with Brown.
And I blame you for this. I mean, it's your fault. It's on your birthday. So, wow, you got a lot of birthday wishes in the chat, buddy.
I appreciate it, chat.
You got like freaking almost said the F word just now. Oh, God. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. A bunch, man. A bunch of happy birthdays. So thank you to everybody that wished him happy birthday. Oh, it's the same person. Jacob Yoho. You I mean, it's
Tosh
not all the
Miller
same.
and Job Waters and
It's
Nathan.
a few people, but yeah. Thank you guys there for everybody wishing my buddy a happy birthday. I just got my birthday present too. I just got a notification. That's what my phone was doing, that my paycheck hit the bank account. So that's always good.
Let's go.
All right. Well, let's go to break then. On the other side, what we'll do is we'll look over Richrod's press conference, see what else he talked about. Listen, our offensive line, he's talking about it a lot. He's calling it out for what it is. And unfortunately, one of the players that we all wanted to start next week doesn't look like he's going to start. What's going on in Morgantown next? And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by our friends over at QO. Talking about QO, man, it's one of the best deals we can have for sure, right? Because it's big time, especially when it comes to discounts. And we all love a good discount. I know I do anyways. This is a company that used to be called Open Phone. I've done many reads for them, and for whatever reason, they changed the name, they rebranded, and they've done a good job. I mean, they really have done a good job. So QO is one of those tools that helps make a huge difference for business owners, formerly known as Open Phone. It's the same great business phone system that you heard me talk about before with the new name. That's why it matters. Every missed call is money left on the table. And whenever a customer conversation counts, you need a phone system that keeps you connected 24/7. QO is the number one business phone system that streamlines customer communications as it works right through your app on your phone or computer. So there's no carrying two phones or relying on a landline. Whether you're a solo operator juggling everything or part of a larger team, QO makes it easier to stay responsible and professional. See why over 90,000 businesses trust QO, formerly known as Open Phone. Get started for free and get 20% off your first 6 months at QO.com/LockedOnCollege. That's QUO.com/LockedOnCollege. And if you've got existing numbers with another service, no big deal. QO will port them over at no extra charge. Do it today with QO. No missed calls, no missed customers. It's segment 2. Let's crack open a dew on Jackson's birthday. Birthday boy. Latte, chocolate.
Oh, man. Well, I may have not had a Coca-Cola today or a dew, but to start off the day, I did drink a Baja Blast.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, listen, if West Virginia beats BYU this weekend, you might as well just go ahead and – hold on, let me get it. If West Virginia beats BYU this weekend, you might as well go ahead and Baja Blast my ass up into the sun, because I'll be a mad dude in a happy way. All right. We're getting a little manic on here right now. Richrod had a press conference today, obviously, and he had a radio stop last night. Yeah. Let's just run through the list. He said he invoked the 24-hour rule and admitted he was really mad for 24 hours after the game. So that's pretty wild, you know. Like, I had never heard of that one before, but he did, which basically means, listen, I'm not going to talk to you. You don't talk to me for 24 hours. So he said it's better this morning because it's not fair to make everybody miserable around him. He said it probably helps to have a short week because they need to play again and get this taste out of their mouth. He said defensively they didn't tackle well in space. Defensively, eye discipline was poor. Offensively, 2 penalties, cost 2 touchdowns. It was a bad performance, and they could have played perfect and maybe not won, but they definitely could have played better than they did. He said Jalen Henderson was okay, but not the spark they needed. That was a big eye-opener for me last night when he kind of openly said something negative, even a little. It's only a little bit negative, but it is negative about Henderson, saying he wasn't the spark. He said in Henderson's defense, there wasn't a lot that could help him, which is true. I mean, there's just nothing. A lot of people want to come down on the quarterback. I have a couple rules. Number one, wins are not a quarterback stat. I've always believed that. I hate when everybody talks about a quarterback's win-loss record in playoff games, Super Bowls, or just in general, because it's not like they do it alone. Like for case in point here, like we've got some talent on the offense this year, but because our offensive line is so bad, we literally can't do anything. That's the truth. Like we've got Cam Vaughn's the best receiver we've had talent wise in a long time, but most people wouldn't know it because we can't set him up in any way, shape, or form. So trying to look at some of the other stuff. We talked about the Nico stuff last night, how he's in Arizona. Doesn't sound like he'll be back. He said they have an idea of who will start. He said Sincere Bauer should be back this week. He liked how Dior Hubbard played. They're hopeful how Edwards will play this week. So, it's going to be interesting, right? But here's one of the things that I teased before we went to the break. Malik Agbo, unfortunately, sounds like he's not going to start this week. He said Richrod just doesn't believe he's big enough yet. That's what he said. He's only 270, which is true, which is why he looks so athletic. But, man, I thought he looked good in the time he did get to play. But it was against Utah's second and third string, and they backed off. So it's probably fair, because you want to run the ball that, you're not going to put a guy out there that's 270. Now, Xavier Bosley, different story, and I'm curious if he'll get to play this week. So today was where he said some things that were kind of opening as well. He said, they're ready to move on to BYU and get the bad taste out of their mouth. They talked about the short week and how it's actually 2 days shortened because we got to take 1 day to travel. So they really aren't practicing physically much at all this week because they're so beat up. And they need to learn what they did and try to get better. He said because they just weren't very good. He also said that's a top 25 team on the road. He talked about knowing Kalani Sitake for years. So he said other guys are going to have some opportunities in this game because of the injuries. We're so banged up at certain spots. And he said some of the guys that got in there last week did some decent things, and that there was a glimmer of hope for some guys that got extended time. So when he talked about Khalil Wilkins, he said this, 5 points I wrote down. He said, I think it's just getting him more reps and getting him more accustomed. Number two, he said sometimes you rush them a little bit and kind of aim it instead of throw it. In other words, he's talking about the throws that he missed. He said Khalil can make all the throws. He did say that, which didn't surprise me, but I just, I guess I just need to see more to believe that fully. He said Khalil has a big, explosive type of ability. And he said, I think he has upside and his future looks really good. When he talked about Khalil Wilkins, not Khalil Wilkins, but Scotty Fox, Max Brown, Jalen Henderson, he said they're banged up. We didn't do anything right anyways, but they were banged up during the game. He said Sunday is a walkthrough. They walk through everything on Sunday. He said they're going to be limited this week in practice, and we'll know more over the next couple of days about their status. He said we think both of them should be able to go, but to the extent we don't know, we won't know for a day or two. So, in other words, Khalil Wilkins totally healthy. Max Brown, Jalen Henderson are not. I'm saying read between the lines. That's why this episode's kind of named a big hint, because it sounds like Khalil may be getting ready to start. I don't normally answer these, but I do appreciate this comment, Britton. Cougar fan here, really enjoying the podcast. Boys, excited for your team to come to Provo. Cool for the freshman QB to get a shot. Yeah, thanks, Britton. And I enjoyed my time in Provo for what it's worth. So that was good times. I actually got to travel and meet Coach Satake. I got to meet Tom Satake. I got to go to the ESPN room and look at them film the show that they do for their show. But yeah, so a lot to digest with what Richrod said this week, but overall very interesting. Let's meet BYU really quick, and then we'll turn it over to Jackson in segment 3 to do his thing, because he's elite at what he does. So the best offensive players for BYU through 4 games in 2025 are Bear Bachmeyer, LJ Martin, Chase Roberts, Carson Ryan, and Cody Hagan. Those are the 5 guys through my research that have really proven to be the guys you want to know about for BYU. Bear Bachmeyer, they've only asked him to throw it 90 times this year, 67.8% completion percentage for 697 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns, no picks, 0 picks. He's only got 90 pass attempts, though. He also has 37 rushes for 163 yards and 4 touchdowns, and he had 100 of those yards last week. Very tough runner. I think they unlocked something with him last week in that aspect. LJ Martin is one of the most consistent running backs in the Big 12. 55 rushes for 400 yards and 1 touchdown and 7.3 yards per carry average, guys. That's elite. Chase Roberts is a big-time prospect for them. He's been there a couple years, and he has 16 catches for 234 and 3 touches this year. Carson Ryan, the tight end, is another good player. 12 receptions for 192 yards and 2 touchdowns, and is also an excellent blocking tight end. And then Cody Hagan is their do-it-all dynamo. He's 93 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. He's got 6 carries. He also receives. He's in the return game. But Bachmeyer is the engine that makes this offense go. Not only does he lead the passing attack, but he provides a pretty dynamic rushing threat as well. Martin is the workhorse, handling the bulk of the carries, and Roberts and Ryan have been reliable targets in the passing game. On the defensive side of the ball, they've got the best pair of linebackers in the Big 12 Conference, and it's not close. Truly. Like last week, we faced some, but, like obviously Pitt has a really good linebacker, but this team has 2. Jack Kelly and Isaiah Glasker, who actually got invited to meet when I was in Provo. Long story there, though. So Jack Kelly on the year has 19 total tackles and 4 sacks. Isaiah Glasker has 17 total tackles and 2 sacks, and a pick. Evan Johnson at corner, 14 tackles, 11 solo, 3 assisted, 2 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown. Raider DeMooney, 16 tackles and a pick. And Logan Lutai. I can't say his last name very good. Logan Lutii, 16 total tackles, 5 solo, 11 assists. Those are the 5 I've chosen for defense. Obviously Jack Kelly's a disruptive force at the.
Oh, he muted himself. Oh, we can't hear you, Paul. Uh-oh. You got muted. It's off, apparently. Uh-oh.
Check.
There we go.
How long was it out?
It went out 45 seconds.
Doggone it, man. Okay, well, let's go to break. We'll go ahead and let you do your thing after the break.
All right.
Be right back. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by FanDuel, y'all. And with FanDuel, it's pretty simple. If you don't want that flavorless caffeine, get on the FanDuel train with Jackson Johnson because he loves FanDuel when it comes to that. Look, this is a game where West Virginia is probably going to be a 20-point dog. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and make you holler and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. It's whether you're a casual fan or love driving into stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much more and better. And so what are you waiting for today? If you want to visit FanDuel, download the FanDuel app today and get started. All right, we are turning it over to the birthday boy, Jackson Johnson.
Oh, here we go. We start off with big noon kickoff on Saturday between the Wisconsin Badgers and the Michigan Wolverines on Fox. Ooh,
Wow. Classic Big Ten game, huh?
most years, yes, but it feels like it's going to be a Michigan 34-10 victory over Wisconsin.
Yeah, I don't doubt that at all. I mean, Wisconsin having a down year, man. That's just all there is to it. So
I agree.
yeah, I like Michigan in this game. I think, obviously Sharon Moore is finally going to get to coach again. That's going to be interesting. I don't think people realize that he's been not coaching all year. This is his first game back, correct?
He is back for good. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But then he's suspended for the Week 0 game against Western Michigan in Germany next year.
What a weird time. Bryce Underwood has been good sometimes. He's been bad sometimes this year. Justice Haynes is an elite running back. I really like him. McCulley at the wide receiver spot for Michigan's a good player from my tape study. And then, Wisconsin, it's just not working under Luke Fickell. I don't know why. After what he did at Cincinnati, you figured he could take it over there to Wisconsin and it would do well. But it hasn't done that yet. I mean, they got held to 10 points last week by Maryland, of all people. And Maryland's playing well at 4-0. Well, I mean,
Maryland's one of the 3 teams that hasn't trailed throughout the 2025 season. The other 2
I
are
did not
Miami
know
and
that.
Texas Tech.
But Danny O'Neal not working out for the Badgers so far this year, Jackson.
Nope. Michigan wins at 34-10.
Yeah, I like that. If you look at Maryland's schedule, though, they played Towson, Northern Illinois, Florida Atlantic, and in Maryland and Wisconsin. We might be undefeated if we played that schedule.
Oh, man. Speaking of Maryland, we got Maryland, Washington on Big Ten Network. I mean, that's going to be a good one right there. I mean, that game should be on CBS instead of Penn State, UCLA, in my opinion. I mean, nobody wants to see UCLA on CBS. No offense to the Bruins, but they're terrible.
Washington had a rough week last week against the Suckeyes, but I thought their defense looked pretty good in that game. They do have talent. But, man, Ohio State's got a smother in defense.
Oof.
I think Washington's, the better team. I think they'll probably win the game, in my opinion. Maryland is 4-0, but they're 4-0 against nobodies.
Yep. Washington wins that one in a 31-17 fashion.
Damn.
Ooh.
Damon Williams in your face.
Yup. And we've got some really good ones like Air Force Navy, one of the Commanders and Chiefs trophy games on CBS.
Yeah, throw the records out the window for this game,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's a game that I've always enjoyed. This year, Navy's just so much better than the Air Force is. It's like, does the Air Force have a chance? I mean, I don't know. I mean, you have to go with Navy.
Agreed. I think Navy wins this one in a 27-17 fashion.
And I think Navy is good this year, by the way. I mean, they're coming. You got to think what they did last year, too. They haven't lost in a long time. I believe it was the last time Navy lost a game. I think the last game they lost was against Tulane. From what I seen the other day when I was scrolling through on TV. That was like November of last year. And since then, they won like the last 3 games last year, including they beat Oklahoma in the Armed Forces Bowl. Oh, yeah. And they've jumped out to this dominating start to this year. So they haven't played anybody. But, I mean, they're a pretty good football team. I always admire how they're able to hang in there with the Power Fives at the Armed Forces Academies.
Oh, especially with Notre Dame. But speaking of which, Notre Dame Boise State on the Peacock app and NBC.
Yeah. I just have no interest in this game for some reason. I
Just
know
means
it
one
seems like a
thing.
sexy
Upset
game.
alert.
It seems like a sexy game on paper. Uh, you know, this Boise State team, they're not last year's Boise State team,
Yeah.
where they held all the excitement, the best running back in America by a large margin. And that opening season loss to South Florida really put a damper on the Broncos this year, Jackson. I like
Yeah,
Notre
but
Dame to win this one.
oh yeah, if Boise State wins this one, they're officially back in the playoff race as the Group of 5 team. But of course, they got to win the Mount West. But Notre Dame wins, they're still alive for the playoff race. So I'll take Notre Dame in a very tight one in a 38-28 victory.
Nice.
Virginia Louisville on ESPN2, and before that we will have Clemson North Carolina on noon on ESPN.
Yeah, Clemson gets their get right game, dominates North Carolina. I mean, they're just a much better team, even though they've looked bad at times this year. And then I'll tell you what, man, Virginia has been very impressive this year. Um, Louisville has been too at times. Um, you know, it's a tough pick here, I think, because both teams have played well. Louisville was down big to Pittsburgh last week and came back and won that thing. I watched that game for a lot of it. Louisville's got a good offense. They've got good skill talent, the whole nine. But I think Virginia, they're a good football team, man.
Ooh, no doubt.
I'm gonna go with Virginia.
I'm gonna go with Louisville on this one.
No.
They're catching Virginia at a hangover. And as for Clemson, North Carolina, I think Bill Belichick gets his first conference win as an ACC conference host. No, that's a trash panda on my hat. So he's from Rocket City.
Got it.
There we go. And
we got any other big games?
Oh yeah. We've got Alabama Vanderbilt, 2:30 Central Time, 3:30 Eastern Time, which, by the way, it'll be the first time since 1937, Thanksgiving or 1937 to be exact, that Alabama and Vanderbilt will be playing each other as ranked opponents.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's insane, dude.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh. What a crazy. I mean, listen, Vanderbilt retooled this year. They got their quarterback in Pavia back. I don't know if they're a top 15 team or not. I mean, they're ranked 16th. They really dominated South Carolina.
They basically shut out Virginia Tech, basically showed everybody what a fraud Virginia Tech was.
Yeah, they did. I mean, their defense is suspect, though. And I think that you guys are going to dominate them on defense. I mean, they give up to 21 to Georgia State, even though they put up 70 in that game. Utah State really hung with them for a long time, and Utah State is a good team, but not an elite team. So I would say, I like Alabama in this game by 10 points.
I got Alabama winning 34-27. I personally think the spread of Alabama being 12.5 favorites is too high.
What we got next, Jackson?
Oh, we've got the Miami-Florida State rivalry on ABC.
Yeah,
is
that's
Miami
a good one.
On their way to the ACC title? Are they going there? Can they get there? Or is Florida State going to have something to say about it in Tallahassee? Are we going to see another wide right, wide left in the history of this rivalry?
We're going to see a wide right natty light.
Something like
Levi
that.
Levi Stevenson.
Yep. Shout out to our good buddy Levi Stevenson, man.
Yeah, he's got a show called Wide Right Natty Light. Obviously Miami has just turned the corner. I think they finally turned the corner, and how do you know? Well, by the way, they played against not only Notre Dame, but against South Florida and the way they dominated Florida. They are just playing differently this year. This is the most talented Miami team we've seen in 20 years. I mean, it's a long time since they've been this good on defense, Jackson.
That's true, but with Mario Cristobal, as we've seen throughout the last few years, and in his tenure at Oregon, his teams always win the big games, but then they always lose that one game they shouldn't. Is Florida State that one game they shouldn't?
Florida State's clearly the best team they played so far. I think Florida State's really turned the quarter since they lost that game against early. So, they held Lagway to 61 yards last week.
Mm-hmm.
Just insane.
Oh, yeah.
Carson Beck has been efficient. He hasn't had to play hero ball. I mean, that was a 26-7 game last week. Neither team put up a bunch of total yards. But I mean, Miami had played really explosive offense before that. Even in Notre Dame, I mean, Carson Beck was 20-31 for 205 and 2 touchdowns. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I got to pick Miami, though.
Paul, I got to pull out a not so fast, my friend. I'm going Florida State in a 27-24 upset. Mind blown, right?
Yeah, man, that's wild. Well, we'll see if it happens.
Oh, man, we'll definitely see for sure. Oh, man, Ohio State, Minnesota on NBC. That should be a good one. The Buckeyes are going to win that one in a 42-17 fashion.
Oh, man. I just can't pick them. I can't pick the Suckeyes. I can't do it. I'll not do it. I'll not do it.
If you would like to know about Mountaineer Paul's history with Ohio State, check out past episodes on Locked On West Virginia, your team every day.
Yeah. Oh, God. Give me the Gophers to pull this upset.
I hope you get your wish. And if they don't make your wish come true, maybe Illinois will make it come true next week.
Yeah. I mean, look. We only lost this to an undefeated Cal team.
Oh, man. It's like, it's just insane that like Cal has just been like Cal is like lost to San Diego State. They got shut out by San Diego State, but were able to beat Minnesota, able to beat Oregon State, and Minnesota lost to Cal. And oh my God, like if that were to happen where they upset the Buckeyes and Columbus on NBC,
it'd be great.
Oh man, there'd be you'd be hearing the Star Spangled Banner playing overnight. But oh man.
Well, I think that's all we got time for. Is there any other really big games that we missed?
Would you consider Mississippi State Texas A&M a big one?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty big one. I'll go Texas A&M in that one.
Texas A&M all the way. Michigan State, Nebraska. I'll go with Nebraska in a 28-17 victory of Michigan State.
Yeah, I like Nebraska too. I think they played tough last week, lost a 3-point game. So, all right, guys, I appreciate you so much for being in here with us as we went through this. And sorry, my sound went out for a few seconds. Sounds like my port might be going out on this mic, which would be horrible because it's a $500 mic. We'll see. I have to check it. Maybe it's the cord, hopefully. But other than that, I'm pretty well good. Let's get out of here. Before you go, I have to remind you guys, we're doing big things. College football is obviously what we love here at Locked On, and Fire TV, college football kickoff, is the baby right now. It's another big moment, right? College football fans, Locked On, Fire TV, college football, unite those together, and you've got your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation along two-time AP Coach of the Year, Gary Patterson, former college star Jackson Johnson, and Locked On's local experts. It's a college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch college football kickoff every Thursday throughout the season and only on Fire TV. That's Jesse Holly, not Jackson Johnson.
Yeah, Jesse Holly. There we go.
Jackson turned 48 today.
28, man. It's like, that's awesome, man. I wonder what it's going to be like turning 48 20 years from now. I bet it would be awesome.
Just look, let me tell you one thing. One piece of advice for everybody that you're listening right now, and this is true advice. I think the one mistake human beings make, and I've learned this through suffering, is not being present in moments enough, right? You know, how you look by and you say, oh my God, the last 5 years has flew by. And you can't remember anything specific from those 5 years that's outside of a couple of things. Stop and smell the roses every now and again in life. Even if it sucks, make yourself sit through that sometimes. Don't run from things and just make yourself face them. I've learned that, right? And being goal-oriented instead of fear-oriented is a big deal. Running to something rather than from something is something that I always also subscribe to. And so don't worry about 48. Just enjoy 28 every single day that you can. Wake up tomorrow, enjoy 28. Wake up the next day and enjoy 28. And just do that one day at a time, because before you know it, you're going to be 40 like me and wish you were 28 again, right? That's life. That's what a lot of people go through. All right, y'all. Appreciate you for being here as always. I love you guys. Happy birthday to my buddy Jackson. And I will see you guys on the next one. I got to go to grocery shopping. I'm out.
Oh.